Nigeria's electricity sector generates only about a fifth of the country's needs.
As we all know, Nigeria is full of amazing entrepreneurs and potential. What is holding Nigeria back is the lack of access to power.
If we have steady power, the issue of youth restiveness, this issue of unemployment can be reduced.
About 15,000 megawatts are generated from diesel generators alone.
If we get our electrical system up and running in this country, we won't be contributing to climate change.
The gas flaring in Nigeria is a travesty. Addressing that would really do a lot to address global warming and climate change. Nigeria, using domestic gas and flared gas, could kickstart its own domestic energy market.
The number one thing Nigerian government should do is to stop gas flaring. Gas flaring has been outlawed since 1984, but it has not stopped for one day. It's against the law to flare the gas. That's why they pay penalty, and the penalty is neither here nor there. So the government should now wake up to its responsibility. We can't afford that wastage. We can't keep on postponing something that is killing our people, something that is wasting our resources, and something that is harming the planet and the people and everything in it.
How could you live in a place that has abundant gas and live in darkness?
As narrated in our Nowhere to Run resource, wind power and solar energy can also help greatly. Let's see this.
Solar and wind electricity can answer the basic power needs of remote and difficult-to-reach communities and contribute to Nigeria's grid.
This is 10 megawatts Katsina wind farm. And the essence of this project is to generate electricity using our natural resources. So by the time we have this 10 permanently on the grid, find out that half of the energy need of this state will be met. Other states can emulate this project. Maintenance cost is low, and initial cost compared with that of the freezer oil is also low. The rate of payment for this electricity will be low, will be cheaper.
Wind power projects such as this require federal government resources, but solar power can be a small-scale alternative. The Human City project in Port Harcourt is doing just that.
Because we have such terrible municipal provision of electricity, we have a really brutalized environment.
Sometimes we may have a program, our gen will be outside making a lot of noise. Thank God we will have a solution to it. The impact to the community is really huge. Each time you go there, you see people come there to charge their phones when there is no light. We are not paying for the sun, so when we put it on, we cannot say, we are burning fuel, so you're not supposed to come and plug your phones here.
Solar power can work anywhere. This solution is exactly what could be done to power up the rural population.
Now, what is significant is that if we can properly use our gas for power and begin to adopt solar and wind power in addition to hydropower, we will practically solve much of our environmental pollution problems. Let's see how some of the experts have addressed this issue.
This is the moment in which Nigeria can decide if it really wants to kickstart its domestic gas market. If you have one flare that's maybe the equivalent of 35 megawatts of power, why not convert half of that, say, into local power opportunities through a containerized, plug-and-play gas-to-power solution? Some people may say, oh, that sounds quite technically challenging, but actually it's not. It's a basic diesel engine, but with a bit of tweaking, you can run gas through it. If the policy environment is right, you can get these things up and running within 6 months. It's going to employ tens of thousands of people and give energy security for Nigeria. Imagine if giving that economic boost to the country can also reduce the environmental devastation that's happening around gas flaring.
Nemo Bassi, Director, Health of Mother Earth Foundation, states that the amount of gas flared in Nigeria is enough to generate power for the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. He contends that the active gas flare in Nigeria is a major contributor to global warming. Condemning it, he declares that gas flaring is criminal. And Joseph Hurstcraft, argues that the amount of gas being flared in Nigeria is equivalent to the annual amount of gas consumed by the country of Brazil. Let's just listen to them.
Gas has been flared in this nation for as long as oil production has been invoked, has started.
The gas flaring in Nigeria is the largest single contributor to CO2 in Africa compared to everything else combined.
About 45 million tons of carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere per day during crude oil production.
The gas that's flared is equivalent to the annual amount of gas that's consumed by Brazil.
The amount of gas being burnt is enough to generate power for all of sub-Saharan Africa. And yet we're wasting over $2 billion worth of natural gas every year just going up in smoke. This is really contributing to global warming, and Nigeria can't afford to add up to the problem that we don't have a solution to right now.
Imagine living next to a huge fire every day of your life, giant cigarette, as it were, attached to your entire community that you can never avoid.
So gas flaring causes diseases like cancers, leukemia, causes acid rain because of the sulfur and nitrogen oxides in it. All this affects crops, causes skin diseases, all kinds of breathing difficulties. So gas flaring is actually criminal.
The pollutants released into the atmosphere by gas flaring are not the only harmful side effects of oil extraction. The damage from oil spills on communities and the environment is invasive and sometimes catastrophic.
In a separate but related resource, Faith Nwadishi, Executive Director, Kuyenum Imala Foundation, says that gas flaring is a threat to our fundamental right to life. She cries that the people across many communities go to bed with active gas flares that are dangerous to them. Here is Faith Nwadishi.
I am from Nigeria, and I'm also from the Niger Delta. And in my community, there's an active gas flare site. For me, gas flaring is a threat to my fundamental right to life, because gas flaring hampers my right to a clean environment. Communities don't know the difference between day and night because they go to bed with active gas flare sites. Women go to gas flare sites to dry their fish and sell to the people without knowing the implications of what they are doing. I'm excited to hear that companies are committed to this initiative, and I encourage African countries to take lead in this. We go to bed, we don't have light, we don't have electricity, we don't have water in our homes, but people live in these communities daily. So if we endorse the initiative, we should be committed to take our endorsements, to take our commitments, to take our speeches to action. Let it translate to the change of lives. We want to see, can we also turn around the lives of people who live in these communities? Give them a good environment, give them a right to life. Truly and factually, as we have made those commitments, I want to see action before 2030, that there are no active gas flare sites in my country.